Okay, I think we can start. Right, so welcome everyone to our first ever Angloville webinar. My name is Agnieszka Nodier and I have been with Angloville for nearly 3 years, helping others and helping our volunteers become teachers of English online and in person. Now, today I will be talking about where to start when you want to teach English online. Also, I'll be talking a little bit about teaching English and how to become a teacher of English. So, just before we start, I want to say something about a book I came across a few years ago when I came back to Poland after I think about 12 years I spent in England. And I want to tell you that it wasn't an easy start, and it was difficult to get used to different things, and it felt like it was a totally new beginning, and living in a country that I had never seen before. And someone told me about that book. The title is Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson, and I'm pretty sure that many of you have heard, if not read, that book. What is actually important and why I am talking about it right now, before talking about becoming a teacher of English as a foreign language, is the fact that it talks about changes, how we are not aware of them, how we do not think that they will come, and sometimes it is difficult to adjust, to learn that actually we will have to learn to live with them, with the things coming. And the aim of obviously the webinar today is not to talk about the book and the changes, but what I want to tell you is that I learned that day when I finished that book, I learned that this is very important to actually the changes are good, and that obviously it's a cliche, so open the doors and you can do new things, but until you actually experience that and you feel that it's important and in your that changes are important in your life, you will not probably know. So why I am talking about that book right now is that we had hours of conversations with our volunteers and people who wanted to be volunteers with Angloville, and those who completed programs, completed teaching courses, also volunteers who were thinking of becoming teachers of English as a foreign language in the summertime during our programs. And these were hours of conversations and emails, like number of emails that we exchanged. People were asking, so what's next? What can we do? Is there anything that you can do for us? And we thought, okay, maybe actually it's our time to help you now. Maybe it's our time to say thank you and do something for you. And of course it took us some time, but then we thought, right, let's help our volunteers get a new job or new qualification. And well, hence that webinar. We will be talking about becoming an online teacher and getting new qualification. Right, let me just now go to my presentation. Right, I hope everything is visible. And so how to become an online teacher with TEFL, and that's our webinar. First of all, let's say that in short, teaching English online is teaching English to a non-native English speaker over the internet through the use of a computer and a webcam. And both teachers and students, of course, they can set their own times and schedules, and the teachers can teach from whatever location they want to. So if you are in your home country or if you travel, you can easily do it with the access to the internet, to the internet connection. Teaching English from anywhere in the world. That means that if you travel, then you can use teaching English online as an additional income, and you can use work as few or as many hours as you please, because you can set your own schedule. You can gain experience and find out whether teaching English is something you really like doing, and maybe you can learn about what kind of teacher you would be, whether you will be concentrating on grammar or lesson plans or following a curriculum or textbook, or you would prefer to teach by conversation. What actually is important is the fact that there are different students. There are people with different needs. Some of them, maybe when they are at the very beginning of their journey as learners of the foreign language, they will want to learn a little bit of grammar. Some of them are actually quite fluent in English, and they will want to continue. They will want to be able to have a conversation. They will want to be able not to worry about making mistakes and using, I don't know, the wrong vocabulary. They will want to get that, to feel comfortable and confident. So that's your experience as well. Also, of course, you can add that to your resume and show that you are, apart from doing your normal job, you're doing something else. That might be saving money as well, because you will be saving money on, let's say, commuting. I know teachers in Warsaw who teach English, and they say, I spend so much time on buses or trams or metro, and I could either have lessons during the time, or I could maybe have some rest in between the lessons. You can have a 20-minute lesson, you can have a 45-minute lesson. Also, if you work for a company or for a school, you will have to be present in a classroom, and of course you can talk to your boss and like in every job, but isn't it easier to call or to text your student and say, hey, can we do it in half an hour, or I'm running late today, can we change the schedule? Like if you are in the States or Canada, I guess that's if you done that's morning for you when it's afternoon in Europe, and that's when kids are back from school. So you're working in the morning, and kids in Europe or Poland learning in the afternoon, like after school activities. So that's also a fantastic way of supporting yourself when you travel. As I said, additional income. A lot of people will have just a normal job, and they will also teach English in a spare time, only a few hours, and that's always something good for them. Right. Now, the advantages of teaching online I have already told you about. Now, the requirements. So a lot of people will ask me, okay, do I need a degree when I teach English? And the question is, the answer is simple: no, you do not. That's fine if you are a fluent English speaker and if you have passion for teaching, or if you're just a people person, so you like talking, having conversation, but you're also patient. You might try, and you may surprise yourself that you will be an excellent teacher. So there's no need to have a degree. Also, there are like countries like Poland or Mexico, Spain, Russia, Thailand, places where you do not need to have any teaching, any degree to start teaching English. Right. Fluency in English, of course, it is important, but it only shows that it doesn't matter whether you are an English native speaker or you learned English and you became fluent, because you can still teach English. When we travel, we meet people from all over the world, and we all speak English because this is an international language, so it is easier. Now, when in our travel, we will not always meet people with accents easy to understand. So of course it's better to practice other accents as well, as long as the students get correct information when it comes to grammar, or like, I don't know, vocabulary or sentence structure. Now, the TEFL qualification as another thing that we want to talk when it comes to requirements. So, of course, you can teach English as a native speaker. You know the language, you can teach it, and that's perfectly fine. Now, are you sure that you are doing it in a proper way, in a correct way? Are you sure that the student is getting what he or she should get out of the lesson? Like, I'm Polish, and I can help my daughter at school with Polish because I still remembered grammar rules from primary and high school. But I don't know if I could teach English to a non-native speaker. I don't know if I could teach Polish to, that's what I meant, Polish to a foreigner, because I wouldn't know how to explain the Polish grammar. Now, if you sign up, if you complete a TEFL course, then you will be sure that you are learning about how to teach English. So you will not learn about English, you will be learning how to teach English. And all the courses are prepared by professionals, by people who are trainers, who also became trainers or teachers of English as a foreign language. Right, and now you can see that I'm asking a question. Why Anglophile? Well, the answer is pretty simple, just because we care. In the last 3 years I have learned that on the other side of the phone or my keyboard there's a real person, and of course with questions and needs, and we prepare you to teach English with practical and accredited courses, and these are written by academic experts in the TEFL field. So we support you in your job hunt, and we just want you to get the best experience possible. Right, and going to the next slide. So, TEFL courses and the Anglo TEFL Scholarship. So, what I would like to tell you about now is that the TEFL courses I mentioned earlier, it's good to have a TEFL qualification, and TEFL stands for Teaching English as a Foreign Language. There are different types of TEFL courses. Not necessarily TEFL, but Teaching English as a Foreign Language. So you will have a TESOL, Teachers of English to Speakers of Other Languages, or CELTA, Teaching English to Adults. The main difference is that apart from the teaching all the age groups and the adults, is also the fact that with TEFL you can teach English all over the world. With TESOL you will be concentrating more on teaching English in the country where English is spoken as a first language. So it's also important that these courses are accredited by different bodies. So this one you can see is a Training Qualification UK, also Accreditation Council for Distance Learning, and all these apply to Anglo TEFL, because Anglo TEFL offers the TEFL course which is accredited. That means that you will know that you are getting a good quality qualification. And in the Anglo TEFL Scholarship you will get 120-hour online training, online and classroom teaching qualification, 10 teaching modules with lesson plan, from 80 to 240 of real life teaching experience, letter of reference of course, and access to paid internships and jobs with Anglophile Online and in China, Thailand, Hong Kong, Vietnam. For our past volunteers, Anglophile guarantees one online teaching job interview referral. Now, the Anglo TEFL Scholarship and the TEFL online course that we offer, and that I wanted to talk to you about as well. So, how much time do I need? Well, there are 10 modules, and you can complete them within 90 days. So that's what you have, 90 days to complete the course at your own pace. So you can take a week, it can take you about 3 months. All depends on your learning style. So I do know volunteers who completed that within a weekend. I do know people who decided to take a little bit different approach, and it took them 10 days because they decided to do one module a day. There is a 10 question test after each module, and to be able to start and complete the next one, you will have to complete the first, so to do the test, complete the module and complete the test as well. In the TEFL course, you will learn about the English language, first of all, in the first module, different approaches to teaching English, why English is worldwide spoken, the history of the language. It costs a little bit, not too much, just gives you the bigger picture of the language. Also, the role of the teacher in the classroom and in working with a student, how to teach grammar, how to teach vocabulary, also pronunciation, which is very important when we talk about different nationalities. I know the Polish speakers will have a problem with a TH sound, and it takes. I've seen volunteers working with our students, our clients at our programs, and it takes time to practice that sound. Right. Also, you will get some ideas about how to about the classroom layout. When it is easier to have students working in pairs. What subjects or which topics is better to teach, like to teach in front of the whole group, or present something in front of the whole group. Maybe it's better to have them working individually. All these ideas you will find in the TEFL course. Okay, so if you have more questions about the TEFL course itself, I will be happy to explain that either in an email or over the phone. At the end of this presentation you will get our phone number, so we will be happy to answer any of the questions about the online course and the content of the course. What I wanted to add is another thing is that there are videos created by the TEFL teachers and gives you a lot of tips, a lot of ideas about certain situations, things that you wouldn't be aware of, or you maybe are not aware before starting to teach English online or in person. Now, so I've spoken and I've told you a little bit about teaching English online, the benefits of teaching English online, also becoming a TEFL qualified teacher, and why it is better to have this qualification if you want to be a good teacher. Now, the benefits of becoming a TEFL certified teacher. The first thing that came to my mind is a backup plan. So I did say, and that was actually the reason why I told you at the beginning about the book. So right now we are staying at home. No one actually expected that. We in March, when it all started in Poland, we thought, okay, maybe a few weeks. It will never last until May or mid-May, or maybe later. And no one actually thought then that we will have to look for jobs. We'll have to look at our situation and try to change everything and adjust, and not many of us think of a backup plan. And when I speak to volunteers over the phone, and as I said, that's what I've been doing with Angloville for some time, I always say, even if you study law, or if you know that you want to be a doctor, it's always good to have something that you can use when you suddenly have to change your life, when you suddenly have to change your path. And for me, it's a backup plan. And for me, having a TEFL qualification, or TEFL certificate, it's that plan, because I know that even if I cannot do what I'm doing right now, I can still teach online. Everything is done online right now, and you do know that everything has been shifted, and we realize that all these conference meetings and the things that would take hours can be done online, and you don't have to spend hours sitting in a room with people. So I think we are learning new things, and like I completed the TEFL with Angloville as a volunteer 2 years ago. I love working with kids, little kids. So I did the kids programs, and the age was 7-11. I received my TEFL certificate. I haven't been teaching as a like professional teacher because I'm happy where I am. But in the future, when I'm older and I still can travel, I want to travel, and that's what I will do. I will use that qualification and earn money when my kids can stay at home. I don't have to take care of them that much. So it's always good to have a backup plan. Now networking. So right, you will be able to meet new people, and I'm not just talking about meeting them in person. There are platforms where you can exchange ideas about how to teach online. There are places where, like Facebook groups for teachers, when they can talk. You can meet someone who knows about someone who knows about the position somewhere else. Also, you are teaching one person, and then they will tell them about your skills and how good you are at teaching, and that helps. So for me, that's networking. Now, getting an additional income. What I can say, although I've told you already, I am not a TEFL. I don't teach normally. I do once a week, a weekend meetings, Skype meetings with my kids' friends, and we do play games. So we'll play like Uno, which is very popular. We will talk about a film, and we will talk about a book. Also, we read a book and talk about that. I don't teach them grammar and the rules. I just have a conversation, which is good for my kids because they maintain their English and they can still practice that English, and they help their friends as well. So for me, it's like a pocket money, an additional weekend job. And the last thing, no need to have a degree. I know that for many volunteers or many people that might be an issue. You don't need to have a degree. I know so many teachers with no degree who managed to either find a really good job or set up their own school, and now they work with a large group of students. Right. And the last thing is that when we talk about the additional income, if you invest in your TEFL right now, and that always has to be, of course, investment, right, first of all, to benefit from that in the future, you may be offered from 10 to 20 euro per hour, and that means that you will get your investment back in as low as 10 teaching hours and start saving for your next summer trip. Right. And now we are coming to the conclusion and a very short summary. I don't want to take too much of your time now, but let me just say that I mentioned hours of phone conversations, emails and meetings that I had with my colleagues at work, and then we came to that idea, the conclusion, okay, we can help you guys. So you do know there are ways of joining Angloville, and we do offer the TEFL Scholarship. And the original way of joining us is to complete 3 weeks with us and the online course. Online course at your own pace. As I said, there are 2 parts of doing that. So at your own pace, you do your online course, and then you join us for 3 weeks. And we sponsor that as TEFL's course because we want to say thank you for spending such a long time with us and helping us and being with us. Now, that's in a normal situation when we can fly, we can plan, we can travel, and we know that that may be easier for someone to travel from the UK or within Europe, but traveling from the States or Australia, New Zealand or South Africa or Canada might not be that easy with the restrictions. So we thought, okay, we want to help. We want volunteers to become TEFL teachers. We want them to start earning money straight away. Once the TEFL online course is completed, you receive your certificate straight away, so you can start looking for a job. So we thought, okay, maybe we can ask you guys to join us for 1 week only, and it doesn't have to be this year. It doesn't have to be 2020. It can be 2021. We will be in touch. We'll have your details. You'll have our phone number, so we can always stay in touch. And we thought, okay, in that case, how about reducing the price from €319 to €119.50 when you do 1 week with Anglophile? And in that offer, of course, you will have 120-hour online training. You will have 10 teaching modules, as I explained earlier, from 80 to 240 of real-life teaching experience. And that means that you will have a teaching practice. So 80 hours will be 1 week when you practice how to teach English in a real life. And if you want to join us for more than a week, that's perfectly fine. Of course, we will have you. We'll help you organize the stay. We will cater for your dietary requirements, whether you are vegan or vegetarian. And if you have allergies, we take care of that as well. Meaning that, of course, we want to make sure that you will not be exposed to any of the allergens. And a letter of reference, that's what we do as well, and access to the paid internships and jobs. So if you are interested in finding out more about this, about the jobs and internships in China, Thailand, Hong Kong, Vietnam, it's always best to send us an email or give us a call, and we will put you in touch with our colleagues who work in this department. We also put you in touch with a school, like a company that puts together students and teachers, and you will be able to have a job interview. So we will give you a job interview referral as the Anglophile participant. Right, that offer is valid until the 5th of May, so that's tomorrow, as we are the 4th of May today. And I will be you will get, apart from the 120-hour TEFL course, you will get how to teach English online, and additionally a 30-hour teaching young learners module for free. That's something that normally you would have to pay, but it comes together in an offer. Right, so so the aim of this webinar was to help you understand what you can do to change your current situation. And as I said, it doesn't matter if you're a native speaker, English speaker, or you learned English and became fluent in it. There's a high demand for online teachers nowadays, and all teaching has been moved online. So normal schools, language schools. I also had a chat with a teacher in Warsaw, and he says that parents are looking not necessarily just for English classes. They look for different type of classes, activities, talking about culture, custom, traditions, teaching a new recipe from England maybe, or teaching about sport, national sports, or having a discussion at a club. That's something more interesting to kids or teenagers, I would say. And I can also tell you that I have been working from home for the last, 6 or 7 weeks, and my kids of course have been staying at home, learning from home, so juggling homeschooling, and because I of course have to help them, and work, it is a little bit difficult and stressful. So when I have an hour when they stay online with a native speaker, and they have fun, and I can hear how they laugh, how they enjoy the conversation, that gives me time for myself. So either I can still work, or I can maybe read a book because I can rest, and they also benefit from that. So So I can tell you that parents actually are very thankful for that time with the native speaker doing the online classes. And once we are able to go back to normal and start living a normal life and travel and work and go to school, I'm pretty sure that when we get used to that, when we get used to having fun conversations online, we will still want to do it. We will still want to benefit. And I know that we talk about how much time we spend with our devices and waste our time. That's not wasting time. That's actually getting something out of that hour when you do things in front of the computer. Right. Okay. So, well, just to finish, I guess I just want to say that investing in ourselves right now, well, we will benefit from that in the future. And right. So, all I want to say now is thank you for listening and thank you for being here with me. I hope I managed to give you enough information, and I hope that webinar wasn't a waste of time for you and you benefit from that as well. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer any of them. Also, you can send us an email, as I said, or give us a call, and I would really appreciate if you could let us know what you thought about that webinar. Is there anything we could change or should change, or is there anything that you would like to hear from us about in the future? Right, so thanks again, and I hope I will see you again in the future. Thanks, bye-bye.